CAC?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Is it the second item or the third item?
It's the item number 3, yes, C.
Oh, okay. So we're on active transportation plan? I'm sorry, I couldn't
Yeah.
hear the mic, so
That is
I
correct.
apologize.
That is correct.
Good evening. Kat Kamax, Principal Planner, here to present the active transportation plan. My apologies, I couldn't hear the mic very well, so I thought we were talking about the NPDES permit. But anyways, active transportation plan. For people who don't know what an active transportation plan or what it is or what it would do for the city, this meeting is just to share with the commission some videos that I found on YouTube that would help kind of convey the message, and they summarize it better than we can as staff maybe, and different ways of addressing is also helpful. So I found 3 or 4 videos to share with the commission. I have a short presentation. I'll jump to that in a little bit, but let me give a brief introduction to why we're doing this project and where we are, because we do have some new members on the commission. So active transportation plan, it was a plan that our existing transportation plan has several kind of goals underneath it to follow up as follow-up actions. And an active transportation plan or a bike pedestrian plan has always been in the books for us to follow up on. We were waiting for a good funding source to try and get some consultants to help us with that. And we applied for a grant with the Regional Transportation Planning Organization in Island County. And we were awarded a grant for $129,000 or so to go hire consultants to do this plan. So we are starting that effort. It's a federal grant program, so it's run a little differently than some of the state grants that we normally get. So we're going through a little more extensive process of trying to get the paperwork done with the state. But we're very close to advertising for requests for proposals from consultants, and we'll go through that process in the next couple months or so, and we'll keep you updated on that. But before we jump into this entire planning process, I'm sure you have some questions on what an active transportation plan is. So let me share my screen and give you a short presentation. We'll watch a couple of videos. So let me see. I hope you can see that. That's just my PowerPoint presentation, and when I click on the link, I hope it'll go to the YouTube channel directly. So anyways, normal questions of, what's an active transportation plan? How would an active transportation plan benefit the city? How it will be implemented? Plan goals and policies, safety projects can be identified. There's a lot of things that an active transportation plan can do. But we'll start with some very basics. What I will do after this presentation is I will forward these links to the Planning Commission so that you can watch them on your own time. I have about 6 videos here, and I put the times on here. We'll watch about the 2-minute video and the 5-minute video. I think that would be sufficient for our meeting time. Some of the other videos are a little bit longer, 12, 18, and 13 minutes. I will send the commission the links to this, and you can watch it on your own time. They are really interesting videos. We chose them for a lot of different angles to look at active transportation and what it can mean for the city. And maybe at the next meeting, after you've looked at some of these videos, we can have an open discussion on thoughts and ideas and so on. And we can incorporate those ideas as we go hire a consultant. And so we can include that into the scope. If we have some special things that we want to achieve through our transportation plan, we can make sure we can include that in the scope with the consultants. So with that being said, I'll open up the first video. This is just actually, if you Rob Voigt is a planner that actually used to work for Oak Harbor. He used to work here when I first came here to Oak Harbor. He has since then moved to Canada, and he is now a planner in Canada. And he's a very interesting person with a lot of great ideas. He's an artist. And so I'm glad he made some of these videos because they're really simple and easy to follow. So anyway, that's a little history. And then I'll also share a video on, how an active transportation plan can contribute towards the economy. So we have some economics section, which you may be interested in. And then there are some other videos, like I said, I will give you the links that you can look at. So without further ado,
What is active transportation, and why is it important? This is Urban Planning 101. Active transportation means any way people use to get around under their own power, on foot, by bike, wheelchair, or even skateboard. It is sometimes called alternative transportation, but it is important to remember that people have been traveling under their own power a lot longer than they've been using vehicles. So it's not really alternative. In fact, many people can only use active transportation methods because of their age, economics, or for health reasons. Why is active transportation important to urban planning and our communities? Well, these ways of moving around our towns don't add pollution to our air or water. And communities with more people traveling by foot or bike are generally healthier and happier. And towns that do not have safe and convenient ways for people to get around without using a vehicle are limiting the freedom and access to daily needs for those people that don't have that choice. There are lots of ways that a town can support the active transportation needs of its citizens, and they are not necessarily difficult. There are simple things that citizens, elected officials, engineers, and planners can do to make their community active transportation friendly, such as making sure that the different places people need access to are not too far apart, like putting a school, post office, and corner store near where people live, or putting in sidewalks and walkways along streets, and connecting them to the places people need to go. Making sure that there are safe locations to lock your bike or take a rest, and putting in good and convenient bus stops so that when people need to use a vehicle, it's easier for them. So now you know the basics of what active transportation is, why it is important to your community, and the kinds of things your town can do so that you and your neighbors can live in a place that is healthier, cleaner, and easier for everyone to get around. I'm Robert Voigt, and this has been Urban Planning 101.
okay, so that was a good 2-minute overview of what an active transportation plan is, and it talks generally about how you can achieve it by putting land uses right next to each other, or requiring bike racks, or transit, considering transit, and so on. So that's a good summary. Sorry, don't know if that was on my side or not. Hang on a second.
So let me add to the complexity of the situation we find ourselves in.
Sorry about that. Get back to our video. Okay, so I have one more video. I think YouTube was playing in the back. My apologies. So I have one more video, the 5-minute video on the economics, and I think this will be a short one for us to just kind of look at, and then I'll leave the rest of the links for the commission to look at, and then we can open it up for questions or comments. So.
If you're a Washington homeowner, 2022 is your last chance to go solar. In December of 2020, Congress passed an extension to the solar investment credit, which pays.
If you've seen any of our past videos, it's no surprise that here at PlanetFacts, we're big fans of active transportation.
It's a fun and healthy way of getting around.
Sure, that's nice knowledge, but here at PlanetFacts, we're all about the green.
Like the environment?
No, like that cold hard cash, baby. Make it rain.
When it comes to active transportation, planners, environmentalists, and health professionals all support an increase in healthy, cleaner ways of getting around.
See, there you go again, putting the majority of your emphasis on silly little things like the environment or health. When's the last time the environment paid for a bike lane?
It is true that the biggest barrier to active transportation is infrastructure, and good sidewalks, bike lanes, trails, and greenways are necessary to get people out of their cars and using active transportation. But there's also a solid financial case for investing in active transportation infrastructure. So pedal it back a bit, and I'll explain it to you. On average, a bike lane only costs $20,000 per kilometer to build. This might seem like a lot of money, but not when you compare it to the cost of building roads. Just widening an already existing street to handle more traffic costs an average of $1.3 million per kilometer. That might be the most inefficient way to spend tax dollars, as the majority of that road space is occupied by car engines and empty seats.
Because active transportation infrastructure doesn't have giant metal boxes driving over it all the time, it has to be repaired and replaced far less often than roads. This means that theoretically our bike lanes could outlive all of us. Keep in mind that this does not account for weather, which tends to do its own fair share of damaged infrastructure. But wait, if we build more active transportation infrastructure and more people use it, then we'll have to spend more money to maintain it.
Well, yes, but even then the cost is just pennies on the dollar. In all of the Netherlands, only 6% of money spent on road infrastructure is put towards bicycle facilities, yet cycling makes up 27% of all journeys.
Transportation infrastructure costs less to build, costs less to maintain, it's better for the environment, and it's healthier. Why are municipalities building more of it?
Well, politics are often influenced by money, and businesses have money, so they often get a say in what councils will or won't approve.
Oh, and businesses hate active transportation infrastructure. Well, actually, they hate giving up room for cars, and they have a good reason to be worried about roads being narrowed or giving up parking spaces. I mean, you gotta be thinking about your customers.
It's true, but oftentimes business owners overestimate the amount of their customers that come by car. Studies from all over the world have shown that business owners underestimate the number of customers that use active transportation and typically overestimate the number of customers that drive by 100%. A study conducted in Toronto found that 78% of retail visitors wanted to see active transportation improvements in their neighborhood, and that customers who arrive by foot and bicycle visit them most often and spend the most money per month.
Now that I think about it, business areas that have great active transportation infrastructure do perform very well. A worldwide study found that retail areas that see improved active transportation infrastructure experience a 49% upward trend in retail turnover. One of the best examples is in Lodi, California, where 20 years ago, the city completed a $4.5 million pedestrian retrofit. to widen sidewalks, add bump outs, and streetscape elements. Since then, the project has been directly linked to the establishment of 60 new businesses, a decrease in the vacancy rates from 18% to 6%, and a 30% increase in sales tax revenue. But this is only one example out of a dozens of projects that show how increasing active transportation in an area also increases business revenue or value.
And don't think that you need California beaches to benefit from active transportation. Dozens of countries with similar climates to Nova Scotia have very high percentages of active transportation users, including Denmark, Germany, Sweden, and the Netherlands. And the benefit of good active transportation infrastructure doesn't just end with increases in revenue. It frees up remaining parking spots by reducing parking demand, reduces congestion around businesses and makes the area more inviting, and it encourages your employees to be more active, resulting in less sick days and lower health claims.
But the biggest reason for businesses to support active transportation infrastructure is a changing market demographic. Younger generations are moving away from private automobiles, with fewer North American teens even bothering to get their driver's license. We also need to consider our own aging population. Like, how long will our pensioners be able to safely drive? Or how many of them will be able to keep up with car-associated costs? With the current clientele aging, future clientele being less interested in visiting car-rented areas, and everyone starting to become a little more frugal, business owners can find themselves left behind for more hip competitions.
If you want to help your community or business by increasing active transportation, make sure to show up and give your support at public meetings. And let your local councillor or politician know that active transportation is important to you as a voter and a constituent.
And remember, the next time you visit a local business, let them know how much you enjoy being able to walk or bike there, or comment about the lack of active transportation infrastructure. It's important to remind business owners, politicians, friends, and even neighbors that customers walk, bike, and take the bus. So remember, get out there and spend that money!
All right. Those are the two videos I wanted to share with the commission. Like I said, I've got 4 other videos, and I will share this presentation. I will email it soon after this presentation to the Planning Commission, so you can take a look at some of the other videos. Some of the other videos, the benefits of active transportation. It's a 10-minute long video. The voice is a little boring, but the graphics are actually pretty interesting. If you can bear with the monotonous voice, there's some information in there. And some of the other longer presentations are actually like TED Talks. I don't know if you are familiar with TED Talks. They bring on some of the top people in various fields to chat about topics. And so a couple of them are from the TED Talks, and they're really interesting people in the planning profession trying to promote more walkable cities and giving ideas on how to promote policy and what to think about when considering walkable communities and what it means. So I will definitely send these links out so that the commission can watch more of these videos and get ideas and be educated on where we're going with our transportation plan, or what we envision that it could potentially do for Oak Harbor. So with that, I won't take up any more of your time. There's no action for this. This is just a presentation to just get you familiar with the topic as we bring more and more of this information with consultants on board. Hopefully in a couple months, there'll be more chances to talk about this topic. So with that, I will end my presentation and turn it back over to the commission for questions, thoughts, comments.